Live from Joey C's apartment, it's Schmuel Buckman with a special edition. I am going to be talking to American Cupcake about books and Audible. And hold up, please, while I send the link. The link is sent. I know you're all excited. So while we wait for Cupcake to come on, let's do something a little interesting. I haven't done this before. And oh, my buddy is on. I don't remember why I do these things. So Cupcake has the link. Let's see when he gets here. So really interesting. Mama B, MAMMA-B, who was in our earlier stream chat, told me that Pat Dixon wasn't happy with me, and it's very funny because I really like Pat. I really like his work, and I really wish he'd get out there more. And I wanted him to send me clips, and I would put them up on YouTube. And I said, I think to get you out there, and I meant to get you out there, and I may have insulted him, and I didn't really mean to do that. But I'm a total. I should have thought about it when I wrote it, and all my fault. Affy, I have never sniped. Well, I shouldn't say never. I don't usually snipe people, but I just saw that, and I actually have it loaded in YouTube, and of course, Ray has not started, but I'm totally happy to snipe him. But I do want to give Cupcake. Cupcake was kind enough to come on tonight when I got stuck, so I want to give him a chance to talk about his show a little bit. And my steps. Yeah, I'm actually not old enough to be Ray's father, but I think I'm like 10 or 11 years older than him. But yeah, whatever. And welcome, Mud Sharks Unite. I have to laugh. And Aussie guy, it's amazing how many people have that same piano. Well, I'm streaming from the Joey C studio tonight. Is that to be low? Is my mic low? Is that what you're telling me? There are Mud Sharks. We can fix that. It's not a big deal. Turn it up. It's a brand new mic, and it's the first time I'm using it. I have a mic that I can use also as a monitor, and it's really loud in my fucking ears. So hold, please. I'm just gonna. Oh, I know why. Because I did not have that before. Hold. Does it sound better now? I can crank it up a bit. And you want it up or you want it lower? You want to leave it the same? Chris Mack, LOL. Yeah. So not only is it the Joey C studio, it's the Stuttering John filter. I maxed the filter on StreamYard, and I'll watch the other one when I see it. On my I am using a Osmo Pocket 3 as my webcam tonight, and on that, not when using it as a webcam, I can. It has. It's pretty funny. It's got features on it that will make you look thinner. It can make you look thinner. It can make your nose look thinner. It can adjust your eyebrows, and it can also make your teeth seem whiter. But I I laugh, and I don't really ever use them, but I did do a bit of a drive stream today that I recorded, and the fucking thing was like focused right on my teeth, and my teeth are horrible because I'm
Hold on, I
62.
gotta reset this.
And
I'm not good for the speakers.
hold on, I want to mute you for a second. Oh shit! I just tossed Cupcake. I meant to mute him. Um, hold on. What the fuck, boys? Anyway, so I had that, and I'm like, I can't put this fucking thing up. It's disgusting. So, we'll say. So, if Ray does come back on, so I don't. I've been trying to keep my uh, streams to an hour and a half, and we went like 2.5 hours tonight earlier with Cupcake. And so, since I don't know how to edit, it just seemed like a good idea to start it all over again. And I'm gonna send Cupcake a text. Thanks. I thought this filter would take 10 years off, and it seems like it's taken 2. Um, and hey, Aussie, what time is it in Perth? Oh man, I could look it up, but I'm gonna text. Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy, I am so sorry about that. I was trying to mute you, and I accidentally removed you
No, I had to
for a
go back
second.
out because my sound wasn't going through my soundboard.
I will never, never, as long as I live, which is probably not going to be forever, but laugh about the stuttering John when he had Sam Kinnison's brother on. He told him to go out of the room and come back in. The guy got up and went out of the room.
That was
I
so.
thought that was fucking hilarious. Hey, Perth. Hold on. I want to see if Perth, Australia time. If it's like in
So
the
how do I
middle of
sound now, Peter Sky Parker?
So sound great. Aussie, if you are not at work, I'd love to send you a link, but you let me know. Yes, Affy talking about the Bill
I'll be
Kinnison, I think it
quiet.
was. The I pissed myself when I saw that. It's great. Yeah, Peter Sky Parker's always complaining about people's audio, and I asked him for help. He's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. You know. But anyway, I want to go back to I want to catch up some stuff from earlier. Chris Mack, uh, cool on the putting down the substances, and I'd love to talk about that. It just wasn't. That wasn't the time to do it. And then I've been told that I can get preachy about it, and I don't mean to be. So that's the deal. But I will say that let's talk about smoking for a minute. So, like I said, I've always
Sounds
smoked
good.
like 1 or 2 cigars a year, and I got this box of their Dominican cigars. I don't know if you can see them. Oh, they're Dominican cigars, and there's 100 of them. It's about $87 a box, and I like them. And the problem is I'm smoking way too much, and I have promised Mrs. Somebody's making a lot of noise back there.
That's a truck
Um,
that was driving
all
by.
right.
Sorry.
So Mrs. Buckman has made me promise that I will quit smoking. And I said, okay, I will when I run out of cigars. So I purchased a box of 100 5 minutes before I knew I was going to engage in that conversation. So I have this box of 100, and I have my assistant gave me uh, a box of cigars for Christmas and a humidor and all this stuff. And I love the cigar genre, right? Like I enjoy that. I just wish it wasn't so bad for you. But more importantly, how I set myself on fire earlier, Dave, you missed that. This you can see this, I guess. This is a torch lighter that I bought from Amazon with the intention of using it as like a candle lighter and stuff. But I don't know if you've ever seen the flame. Yeah, you can
Oh,
see
yeah,
the
I can
flame.
see it.
All right, so check this out. So this is me starting it. This is me turning it off. And it still runs for like a couple of seconds after.
And it burned you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
so
it's happened to me quite a few times.
the first time I used it, I was sitting out on my front porch. It was Christmas, and my niece had brought Christmas pajamas for the entire family. And they were from Old Navy and they were matching. And I was sitting outside and I lit the cigar. I put the lighter down and I smelled something burning. And I looked, and I will tell you that do not, never, ever, ever buy that Old Navy shit for your kids, because that fucking stuff, within seconds, my entire left leg was all smoked out. And you see the little, and Dave, you're on my channel as well.
I know,
so
I know. I keep
I know.
forgetting,
I'm happy to send you. I'm letting the what do you call it? People know.
I know. I was about to say.
The other people know that if something really rude and ugly comes up, it's Dave using my channel.
Yeah.
Not me.
I forgot I'm on your stream rack. Hey, but how old are you? 60 something?
Two.
What?
6'2".
62. Wow, KB's older than you.
We
oh
both.
my god.
Yeah, he's certainly in better shape than I am. I mean, he's taking care of himself.
It's not the
a lot.
shape so much. It's not the shape so much.
So, I mean, you missed, just to catch you up, you missed, I have the Joey C background. This is Joey C's apartment. And I also have the heavy filter on StreamYard.
Yeah, I could tell.
I didn't have it on the other show. I wanted to see what they look like.
You look like you've just been embalmed.
Oh, do I? That's great.
But at 62, what's the point of quitting smoking, dude? I get it. I'm 40. I'm young. I still got a lot of time ahead of me. But at 62, it's like, come on.
I only started it like, it's not even a year. Actually, it's probably a year ago, because it was Hackamania last year when I started it.
When you started smoking?
Yeah.
Wow.
Cigar.
You never
only
smoked
cigars.
back in the days, though? You never smoked back in the day
Yeah,
at all?
I did. I quit
military?
when I was 22.
Imagine starting smoking twice in your life and then quitting twice, like years apart. You had my whole lifetime apart between smoking.
Right. But the thing is, those were cigarettes. These are cigars. And over the years, like I went a good 20 years with nothing, because I was terrified I would start smoking again. And it was Berg's fault, because I was hanging out with Aaron Berg and had a cigar. And then I went to Hackamania, and that's when it was like all the cool guys were hanging outside smoking. So I needed to smoke. I don't even know, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it wasn't Hackamania, it was WATP. And then I went another year without smoking. So there you go. And Permaseal, you remind me of my dad, yet we are the same age. We are both boomers. Yeah.
Sorry, Affy. I just saw 2 comedians, 2 cigars, and I wanted to shoot myself. I remember watching that god-awful show, dude.
Who was that?
It's Bobby Kelly and Ari Shaffir talking about cigars.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Cool.
You can't do too much.
Cool, guys.
All right. I'm gonna
I
read
got my
this,
Cohiba right here.
because I want to get him going, but we're not going to talk about it. All right. Chris Mack, I was dual dependent on opiates and benzos. So I couldn't even take the Librium protocol. They just gave me double doses of phenobarb, which has no psychological effects. I almost lost my mind. I liked phenobarbital. But when I was a young man, like you guys smoked dope, we were occasionally injecting things, and Valium was Valium.
Wow.
Valium was one.
You're
And
not
then-
quite the square I thought you were.
Right, you just went. You just earned 10 points on the cool level there, Schmuely.
So the story is, there's a couple of them. One of them is the Navarre Pier, which I think was wiped away in a hurricane, and they may have rebuilt it, but I don't know. So the Navarre Pier, we got all fucked up. We went fishing because that's what you do when you get all fucked up. And we went. It was probably like 9, 10 o'clock at night, and the next morning at about 9:30, the cops woke us up, and there were probably 5 of us, and we were all passed out. But this was a group of all people who worked in the hospital. Most of us were medics. Some of us were like surgery techs, shit like that. And one of our friends, so somebody had stolen some Valium. And so we did IV Valium. And one of us stopped breathing. And so we're there, we're hanging out. This guy stops, breathes on the couch, stops breathing. Holy shit, Phil's not breathing. He's not breathing. Starting to turn blue. And what do you do
Jesus.
when you have paramedics, medics, surgical techs, and everybody else, and one person stops breathing? You immediately go to, oh, fuck, we got to hide the drug. We got to hide everything. We got to start cleaning up. And nobody touched this guy because we were so worried about getting caught. And then he started breathing again. And we just went back to what we were doing before. So that's one of my many stories. Yeah, I wasn't such a great boy, but I was more of a always wanted to be one of the cool kids. So I would whatever anybody was doing, I would
Yeah.
do it. I'm like, yeah, this is great. But I am old enough to remember pharmaceutical Quaaludes,
Oh.
which I have to tell you, are
Are
the
they
greatest
awesome?
drug. They are the greatest drug ever invented. And I can always, I don't share what it is, but when anybody tells me they've taken Quaaludes, I ask them how it made them feel, and I can tell in the first 3 words that they use whether or not they actually took it, because it has a very specific effect.
That's awesome.
There was what was the other lewd that was similar to it or equate? There was there were like just later versions of it that I took that were not like nearly the same. I can't remember
No.
the name of it. I can't remember the name. It's a type of lewd.
It's funny because I was thinking, I was like, there's another one that begins with a T, and I was thinking thalidomide, but that's the baby drug. That's the one that caused all the little flipper arms.
Yeah.
The fuck is the name of it?
I don't know.
Well, it'll come to me.
Tramadol?
They used to give it. It was like the drug that they gave you when you went into the asylum, and it kept you. It really kept you under control. And the only place so I haven't seen it in 100 years, and I will think of the name of it. But when my dog got old, he started to have seizures, and they gave him a medicine, and I was looking it up, and why did you say?
And I started taking it, and
And
it
was the same stuff. But the deal was, in dogs,
Let me mix this
it
down
only-
real quick.
the
Right.
half-life of it in dogs is very quick, and in humans, Thorazine. Thank you, Chris. Ding, ding, ding. Thorazine, and they used to give it to patients, and
Thorazine drip.
they would talk about the Thorazine shuffle, and gabapentin.
Gabapentin.
I
Jesus
hated
Christ, Chris Mack.
gabapentin. Your parents take gabapentin? Dave?
No wonder do my parents take gabapentin?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, gabapentin's not a controlled drug, but I mean, we could talk drugs, but we really wanted to talk to Cupcake.
My
about
parents, they don't really
his
take.
drink.
They don't have any real like painkillers or sleep aids. My mom recently, like in her mid 70s, started having sleeping issues and started drinking more, started drinking vodka,
you
but
go.
also started taking some sleeping pills here and there. But for the most part, they don't really take like anything. My dad's got arthritis, so he takes like topical stuff, but nothing internally.
So I got sober almost 9 years ago.
It's carpal tunnel, actually.
Yeah, and before my routine, just before I realized I needed to do something, I was taking, every night, I was drinking Jameson Guinness, taking a Xanax, at least one Xanax, and Ambien. And
Jesus Christ.
yeah, and oh my God, it was wild because I fucking talk about blackouts, right? I didn't remember anything, but I'm very lucky that I've always lived, I shouldn't say always, but in my years when this mattered, I've always lived in urban areas, so no DWIs. Like I never got in the car, never got in the car and drove. Could always walk to places, and but man, it's like I've woken up in the morning and
Never had
there's,
kids
like,
to take care of.
nachos all over the fucking house, like taco chips, and I had made nachos the night before, and there were no nachos in the house when I started. But the next morning there would be. I would like fucking walk to the supermarket and buy nachos and sour cream and shred it, and I'm like, and I have no memory of it at all. But I do remember getting a $500 Amazon order. I ordered so much shit from Amazon one night, and don't remember doing that. There were conversations with the wife that I never remembered having. But the worst part was I started having phone calls with ex-girlfriends. And
Yeah, I never did any of that.
not
Yeah,
good.
I never did any of the
would never do that.
gambling. Like I used to gamble a little bit here, there back in the day, playing poker and like a little bit here and there. I never gambled. I never got drunk and like texted people. The only thing I would really do is I would go on, like, I'd go online, like Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, and do chat and just chat on something live. Usually, I like that.
But
That was what I liked doing.
kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Did you
exactly. But
regret
it's not-
the
but I'm
stuff
not-
that you chatted?
No, I mean, no, that's kind of how I made a name for myself. Actually, I mean, you know, when you're saying that kind of shit online in somebody's chat, it's kind of funny. But when you're saying it to your mother-in-law, it's not funny. You know,
I would wake up.
I don't
in the
have a
morning and
mother-in-law. I'm just saying.
I would I'd look at my phone and see that I had like a 45-minute phone call
Nah,
with some ex, and
Nah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I would just get super stoned to go on Star Wars chat rooms.
See, I wasn't like into the chat because then because I don't type well, so that was always
that
was
sounds
always a
more
problem.
pedo than it should be. But I get what you're coming from, big guy.
Yeah.
Especially when you see
He's
your
like
face
Schmuel
saying
playing
that.
with 13-year-olds.
Anytime you see
No,
your
it was all.
face-
This was back in the late '90s, early 2000s. So it was
Yeah,
all older
MIRC,
guys.
AOL, that kind of shit.
Are you?
No, it was all older guys talking about
Yeah.
like the Star Wars books and stuff.
Forums. Yeah.
Are you? Are either one of you guys in the old enough for AOL?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I did
Like, do you
AOL.
remember the AOL chat rooms?
I started AOL when I was very young. I got a computer at a very young age. I got a computer in 91. It was basically my computer. I was 6 years old.
Yeah, we didn't. No, we were. We didn't get a computer.
I was like 6
till,
years old when I got it. Yeah.
97, 90. No, 98. Because my son was just a year old.
Pentium 60 we got.
Okay. I remember having a TRS 80.
My grandpa had one of those.
Windows version 3.0, dude.
I was DOS.
I was on. I mean, I
DOS
was on
basic.
there young. And then once we got cable modem, I got cable modem in 96. It was over.
Oh my god!
It was over, dude. Downloading Blink 182 songs at like, it would take me an hour to download a Blink 182 song. You know how long an hour to download a Blink, an hour to download one Blink 182 song. Oh, I mean, I would burn. I mean, it was nuts. I wasn't burning back then. That was too early for burning, but burning came later.
My first high-speed line was a DSL.
Yeah, that's what I had. AT&T DSL.
I had a company called Red, and they went out of business. And I'm old enough to have a bunch of companies that went out of business.
Honestly, you know what's crazy is that Charter has been like this. The price for Charter cable modem has literally been $99 a month ever since 1996.
Wow.
Like it has
So
not changed. Maybe it was $120, and which $120 was worth more back then.
T-Mobile, baby,
But
right here,
essentially,
$50 a month.
but it essentially has not changed the price, which is kind of
yeah,
crazy.
at home I've got 3 places, right? And I've got
That's a truck
um
driving by.
yeah, it's all right. And I'm not bragging. So
Who is that?
right here, right now, I've got 65 download and I don't know, 19 upload. That's Wi-Fi. That's Verizon Fios. I pay $67.79 a month for it here. In one house, I have Verizon Fios, and I pay, I don't know, like 75 a month. And then I have the other place I have the T-Mobile for 50, and I've not had any problems with the T-Mobile. The only thing I ever find with T-Mobile is I have to restart the router every now and then. But other than that, because you have like the smart thermostats and stuff, and every
Yeah.
now and then it'll be like it can't connect, and you just restart the modem and boom, it's back. So
Yeah, I
but
got this 1,000-watt power inverter. I just just for shits and grins, man, I grabbed my home internet box, dude. Works like a charm all over the country, man. It's
that's
fucking
fantastic.
fantastic.
Yeah, we're all gonna be Starlink. I just got an email from T-Mobile about
I get the
their
text messages all the time about the Starlink texts, and
well,
you should.
they're doing a Starlink T-Mobile test of some sort,
Yeah,
and it's
I'm
like
in the beta. I
Starlink
totally signed up.
T-Mobile test. That's cool. Yeah, you are a fucking beta, aren't you?
I totally
Big
am, baby. You know it.
so.
Anyway.
Chris Mack will be there in just a minute. We wanted to get through the chitty chatty bullshit, and I feel like there was something else I wanted to talk about. And Permaseal, yes, Mint Diggity put it in here. The lanyards were brilliant, by the way. I liked the lanyards. I thought they were great, and yeah, everybody
Permaseal's
complained about
slowly
the
turning into a legend.
being
Permaseal, we
big.
got Jeff Dye coming on soon. Maybe
Yeah,
you like that one, huh?
I don't
Good
know
to
who
see you
Jeff
there,
Dye
Soup Chen.
is.
Really? He's good. He's good. He's funny.
I probably know
he's
him
good.
once. Probably once I see him, I'll probably know him. He's gonna come on Brennan.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they'll talk some baseball. Talk some baseball and basically let KB yell at him for an hour about Neil. Because he's a comedy store guy. So
Did this guy play baseball?
I think he played a little bit of baseball, but he also is a comic that like does podcasting and talks a lot about baseball on some podcasts.
Yeah, okay.
He's good. He's funny. I think he's funny.
Ray
He
used
was
to
like
make
an
me-
alcoholic. But recently he was. So I guess he recently just quit drinking, but he was an alcoholic and he like was dating like kind of this pseudo famous reporter chick or something or other, and like he was meeting I don't remember what the story was. Some famous kind of girl, and he was meeting her in the morning at like Starbucks, and he was still drunk from the night before. Got into an accident on the way there, left his car, and went to the Starbucks to meet her. And she was like, "What the fuck?" The police came in, and he was like, "So that's Jeff Dye, basically." So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, it's funny. But yeah, basically, I'm just trying to find some people for the boss. We'll see what happens. Maybe some.
Are you on the
maybe
Kevin
Adam
Brennan
Ray will
payroll
come on.
now?
Let me tell you,
Yeah,
this is in 2025. This is the easiest way to get paid by Brandon. If you want to get paid, is doing producing where it's not going on the show because you don't pay guests no more. Let me tell you, he will pay guys like Jeff Dye and shit, and like people we book, but he's not gonna pay. He's not gonna pay me, Chad, Mr. Kelly, everything. Nobody. He's not paying anybody more. He hasn't paid me at all. He only paid me for helping him with the Rumble. Let me make that 100% clear.
Right.
He has not paid me at all for being a guest on the show. And as I've never asked or wanted to be, even the amount he paid me for Rumble was too much. It was literally
The,
too much.
Rochi, you
Because-
mentioned how much you
Yeah.
got paid on BYB, and
Yeah.
everyone was shocked. And he was
Yeah,
wrong.
I got
He
paid.
was- you got
It was
paid
$50
$350
more,
right?
I think. I got paid
Yeah, and he
300.
said 300, and people.
I got paid 300.
Wow.
No, I got
Jeff
paid
Dye.
300. I got paid 300 for, you know, for 2 or 3 hours worth of work spread out over 6 or 7 days.
Right.
So it's like not, you know, I would have been happy with $50. I was surprised when I saw it, honestly. But anyway, and that's not the point. I mean, look, he was KB has been known for paying guests and blah blah blah, and maybe, you know, maybe some of those guests are a little too maybe unthankful for the type of gift they were given. But maybe even Chad too. Now, so I mean, Shuli's starting to go after KB every day. It seems like almost, and I'm here for it. I would love to watch this. I'm gonna have fun with this Shuli versus KB because KB's leaving after this year probably.
You think?
You know, I mean, he won't. I don't think he'll do every day. He'll probably do once or twice a week, but I don't think he'll do every day. Once he's got the income from his retirement, he's gonna retire. He'll just do whatever he wants to do. He's basically just holding over to then.
I thought it was so funny the other night when I guess Shuli had told
That's just my
Chad
opinion.
told Chad to come over, like Chad should go to Shuli Network or whatever.
Yeah.
And so KB is like yelling, Chad, go over there. Chad, go over there. Chad's got no desire to go over there, but KB is yelling it, and you could see Chad got scared. Like Chad was like, no, I don't want him thinking I'm going over. Like it was very funny.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll tell you something though. Here's the thing. I'll tell you something with KB. It's something that even Chad hasn't understood yet, and or Ray. It's something that Brian McCarthy understood until Brian McCarthy was literally shunned by KB. So then that makes you kind of think, okay, what the point is here, there's always this silent nod. There's got to be this silent nod between the two of you that like Chad hooking up with Shuli and doing this with KB now is good for both shows. And KB can't say that live, obviously, and also can't even say that to Chad like in DMs because Chad's a piece of shit. He'll just release that. It's not about the persona, but if something like that comes out, it's like, you know, it's a little, so it's a silent nod. Like, all right, let's do this, motherfucker. Let's fucking do this. I am the KB whisperer. Motherfucker, I've been listening to this guy for 10 years almost, dude. I'm in KB's DMs. Let's call him right now. Just joking. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, well, you know, he's not on Twitter anymore, right? So I don't have to. I don't know if you saw my.
No, but I'm
tweets
just
today.
saying that, like, no, but I'm just saying that, like, the Shuli shit and KB going after each other, I think it's great. I think it's perfect. I think it's gonna save Shuli, number one, because Shuli's losing out to KB, and KB, you know, he's on his way down. So let's get some good. Let's go out in 2025 with some good interviews. Because KB had some, like, I was watching old episodes with Mark Norman and shit and Shane Gillis on Burning Bridges. Dude, Mark Norman saying K-I-K-E is fucking awesome, dude. You'll never see Mark Norman saying K-I-K-E ever again. But he says it because he's with KB. He feels comfortable saying that, right? So, like, we need more of that. That's all I gotta
KB's
say.
the guy that like you're gonna feel comfortable with him, right? Talking to him, and the next thing you know,
exactly.
you're gonna be like on the front and in the New York Post the next day.
Right.
No, because no matter how, I that might be true, but I think the point is that like no matter how much of a piece of shit you are, he will always out piece of shit you. So it's okay to be a piece of shit, you know, and like be mean and mean spirited, because he's always gonna be like that. He's always gonna one up you. So it's like, okay, do whatever you gotta, like, be comfortable. Say the N-word, baby.
Yeah, that's. I don't know, man. I try to stay away from that stuff. I
Right.
tried to engage somebody. Oh, I was on Dixon's show, and I was talking about a black character being played and uh, playing a traditionally white role, and fucking Pat was like, "No, this is." He was like, "It's all DEI." He was very upset. Um, so there we go. All right. So let's spend a few minutes here, Cupcake.
All
Tell me
right.
about uh, Starship Troopers. Tell me about your Audible experience, and tell us what you're doing on your channel.
Well, I mean, with what I'm doing with my channel, weather's getting nicer, so I'm going to little roadside attractions now. Shout out to Sergeant Zim. I was going to mention something about that, but yeah, I what was it? 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, I was in Los Angeles. I went to the Cabazon
Should have
Dinosaur
called me.
Park. Oh,
What did he say?
I should have called him.
Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, no, I went to. Have you seen Pee Wee's Big Adventure?
I've actually been to that dinosaur park.
Yeah, I live streamed from there. I went inside the big T-Rex. I walked around there.
My ex-wife is from Yucca Valley,
Okay.
and I don't know how we wound up there, but we wound up there, and it was with her nephews at the time who were really young, and they wanted to see it. She was a big Pee Wee fan. She was much younger than me, and I had taken her to the Pee Wee show on Broadway and whatever. And we got there, and it was funny because just wasn't like, it was like, okay, there's not a lot up there.
I'm not sure if you're aware, Schmuel, but I have a postcard club, a bunch of people that I send postcards to, and sometimes if I also do I do raffles. I'll get souvenirs, and at the dinosaur place they had stickers. So everyone in my postcard club, someone said to tell them Large Marge sent you. This is the sticker from the dinosaur place. So everybody on my postcard club list is getting one of those.
Did you see the movie theater? This is from Mud Sharks Unite. Cupcake, did you go see that movie theater Pee Wee used to go to?
Where he saw Nancy Nurse. I've not been to that movie theater. No.
Did he? He got busted. Wait, Fred Willard got busted for jerking off in a movie theater. Did Pee Wee?
No, that was Paul Rubens. That was Pee Wee Herman.
Okay, no, but Fred Willard also got busted too.
Fred Willard, the comic actor.
Best in Show. Yeah.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah. Somebody want to Google that for us? Yeah. And it's very funny. And it's like, what the fuck? You're in a fucking porn theater. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I have one porn theater story. I sound like Stuttering John now, trying to one up. I went to a porn theater in Queens, a buddy of mine, and we were like, yeah, let's go. We were driving by it. We go in. We lasted about 5 minutes. It was a porn theater, but it was filled with gay men. And it was a straight, like, the film was a straight, like, porn, And I was just laughing because I'm like, oh my, the first thing I was like, I got to take a piss. And I think I got offered like 3 hand jobs and a blow job before I got out of it.
Oh my God.
And it was like, it turned, I didn't know this, and it's called the Fair something. I think it even's still there. But in any event, it's on Astoria Boulevard, right by LaGuardia Airport. And what do you call it? And it was like known as, little did I didn't know this, but it was known as a gay theater. But I guess they played straight stuff, so you could go and meet your friends, and if your wife caught you, you were just looking at porn, not looking at penis.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that was and then yesterday when I was in West Virginia, I went to hold on a second. I was in Flatwoods, West Virginia, and this is actually a picture of that.
Oh,
Supposedly
the alien.
in 1952, this alien landed in Flatwoods, West Virginia, and I mean, it's a little town. They've got cobblestone streets. And they have this festival. So I went to this little museum, and then they had a Bigfoot museum there too. So yeah, I will be doing a lot more of that, and do it. And when I go to these places, I'll get like souvenirs like this. I do at the end of my streams, I raffle off souvenirs. I get a bunch of souvenirs and raffle them off to the members of my postcard club. So at the
Have you been to Roswell?
a couple times, yeah.
Is that like the only thing there?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing there is alien stuff. They've got a couple. They've got they have this. Let me roll up my window. They have a VR thing where it's like you go on a spaceship. They've got they got this one place that you walk in and it's just got. They just got a bunch of alien stuff. There is a museum that that you go through and then it shows, news articles, and they've got old, like the old school radio, radio news things about the crash in Roswell. And then, like the first part, they're like they've got newspaper articles. The first part, this unknown thing landed in Roswell. And then they go to the other, you read the other newspapers that no, it was just a weather balloon, and the people who live there are dead set that it was an alien. And you can actually go to the site where the city of Roswell. It's like, I think it's like 10 miles away from with the actual city where the alien crashed.
So yeah, but I would imagine that if you're in Roswell, that's how you're making your money, right?
Yeah.
Like you need to build that up, and so I'm not the alien believer, but there we go. But all that shit, I just figured it was military stuff because that was back like, Vegas, Roswell, places like that. They were there because they were in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a sports bar in Roswell, and they've got their own craft. They got their own craft beer. It's Alien Amber Ale.
Uh-huh.
It's fantastic.
I am waiting.
And alien jerky is not bad. It's just expensive. It's not the best. It's not garbage. It's fine. It's good. It's good though. It's not bad.
We're gonna wind up in like probably like Vegas is so big, probably like in 25 or 30 years, everybody's gonna be start dying of cancer in Vegas from all the fucking nuclear storage and shit that's out there. And all the tests.
Nukes are fake. Come on, nukes are fake. We're talking about aliens. Nukes are fake. The Illuminati's real. What else?
Aliens are real. Nukes are fake.
What else? The Earth is flat. Obviously.
Obviously.
Space is gay and fake.
Right.
And they're all connected, right? Yeah. Everything's connected.
Update the boomer. What's roof pizza?
Well.
And if KB likes it, I'm in, I think.
I don't know what roof pizza is.
Yeah, you stumped me.
KB.
Moon landing's fake for sure. 100%.
Yeah, except they
100%.
faked it, what, 8 times?
I don't know how many times they actually faked it, but for sure the first one was faked.
Oh, you're so fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
For sure.
It's not.
Maybe not the ones after that, but that one for sure.
It's got to be fake. It's fucking stupid. Sorry.
Let me just say one real quick thing, which is like just a stupid little thing that I like to tell, which is apparently Elon Musk told Tony Hinchcliffe that, and Tony Hinchcliffe told this to Eleanor Kerrigan on a podcast. So apparently Elon told Tony it's so much easier to get to Mars than it is to get to the moon. He's like, that's all I'll say. Because Tony asked him, do you think the moon landing was fake? And he goes, it's a lot easier to get to Mars than it is to get to the moon. And then that was it. So, and I asked Eleanor Kerrigan at the Comedy Store, and she said he Tony sounded like and looked like he 100% believed that. So that's all I gotta say.
Okay. Elon's trying to get that money to go to the moon. So,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like trajectory and stuff. I mean, if
like a
it's
third party stuff, it would be. That's it. I agree with Mint Diggity. That settles it.
Okay. Well, I have a
Changed
theory.
everything I believe, Dave.
here's my sci-fi nerd coming out,
Good point.
thinking, yeah, well, I mean, the moon probably does like orbit the Earth a lot faster than the Mars orbits. So I mean, you could probably.
It's just the moon is so much different than everything else in the universe. It's weird. That's all I gotta say. It's just weird. It's weird. It's not. Something would move slightly. I understand the moon and the stars and something with the physics and the Ricky and Julie. See, I'm doing my Bubbles impression, but when Goldie died, I don't know if you guys remember that Trailer Park Boys. When Goldie died, when Rick's goldfish died, he goes, no, he's still alive. Something with the moon and the stars. Anyway, okay, guys, it's been great. Your plugs, please.
You can see the shit on the. You can actually see the leftover shit on the moon. But,
I actually went to
maybe
this.
they planted that there too.
I went to this museum last year, and they had a replica of the Mars rover. Dude, that thing is huge. It's as big as a car.
Yeah. So I
had no idea. I thought it was something like this big. No, it's as big as a car.
Yeah, I got to see it. Well,
Dave, you lucky bastard! I wish.
It's got to fit the three of us in there.
The rover had to be big because of the way because of the surface of the moon, and you had to equalize the weight, or else it would have, right? Like it had to be heavy enough, and it had to be light enough.
Yeah.
And Chris Mack is asking,
it had to be heavy enough, and it had to be light enough.
Oh, go fuck yourself. The moon is like 250,000 miles away, allegedly. Mars is like 4 to 5 million away. And then...
don't ask me, dude.
Explain
Tony
it.
Hinchcliffe said it.
I'm 5. How's the one that's explain further away easy?
Explain it like I'm 5?
Yes, explain it to me like I'm a child.
For sure. Like if Chris Mack, let me just say something. If nobody over 40 was in this chat, he'd just write ELI, what is it? M-E? What is it? So explain like I'm 5. ELI 5. But like he had to write it out. Explain like I'm 5. Because
you guys never seen Galaxy Quest?
He had to do it. He had to do it for me.
Yes, explain it to him like he's a child.
It's never give up, never surrender.
Yeah.
in the Dabbleverse now, it's explain it to me like I'm a child or Schmuel, right?
Explain it to me like I'm Joey C.
Yeah, exactly. Nah.
Well, no, look, you know what? I'll give it up to Joey C. He will do whatever it takes. He'll learn whatever it takes to make money. OBS, fucking AutoCAD, starting to be learning Blender, whatever the fuck it's called, 3D printing. He's learning all that shit because like, oh, I got super tips. Hey, I got super tips now.
Yeah, I got the super tips now. Super tips are open. We prefer super tips over the super chats.
Pineapple was saying earlier, he's like, yeah, it fucked up here and there. I'm sure half of that is the Pineapple and Joey's fault, and half of that is the struggles of a new software. And
yeah,
I do think Schmuel should get super tips.
When
he gets another 100 subs, I think he should get super tips.
I enjoyed when the Pineapple was having trouble with super tips, and I suggested we call Joey C to have him help.
Yeah, I think a lot of Joey C's technical problems are not real technical problems.
Yeah, because that's not true. Because 99, like you got B Dabbler, OJ, and Cardiff Electric, who are 3 tech savvy people that still have a little bit of issue with it. You know what I mean? They still have their issues with it. But they do run it the best because they've got 3 people running it.
Right.
Essentially.
Well, yeah. I mean, OJ, right? Well, they didn't have OJ this week, but he was
right.
No
you know
show.
what I mean?
No. But I'm saying they have OJ running it because I think the super tips requires some work, right? So it's hard to
Yeah.
host the show and do super chips if you're getting them.
No, it's just that I think that what it is you have limited screen space. So you want certain things open and you want certain things on the side, and you're not always looking at the system. So if you're not always looking at the system, you never know 100% if all the tips that are coming in. And again, I've never worked with super tips. I have no idea. I'm just giving an example of how I've dealt with it with like StreamYards or Streamlabs. Sometimes Streamlabs will lag, and you might get a tip in, and it may not come in right away like you think. And so you're constantly looking at one thing in real time and another thing to make sure that it's going to the browser. Because then you have the super tip that comes in, then you have the information that has to go to a browser thing. Then you take that browser link, you make it a browser thing on your OBS. Then you can click on an independent super tip thing that will show onto the browser source.
Sorry,
Right.
I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's how it is. Like, it's not as intuitive as one might think. Like, even so, that
We get it, Dave. We get it.
I just love how Joey turned a total 180 with the super tips. Like he was, I got an attorney now, and because they're using my voice illegally, he was all balls to the wall. I'm gonna sue everybody.
I know.
And Melton sucks, and Melton's this, and Melton's that. Then he gets super tips, and Melton's pretty talented. He's he's a pretty talented guy. He did these super tips, and he the way he's got it is just like, dude, great. You got super. You don't have to fucking put Melton's balls down your throat, dude.
Okay, Jake Hudson was counting that money, right?
Yeah. And then Jake Hudson invites me onto a podcast, tries to sandbag me with Joey C. And then
really
finds out and realizes that Joey C had been stringing him along this whole time to join in on a lawsuit against Patrick Melton, only to find out that when we went on that show together, that Joey C had already taken super tips and left Jake Hudson in the dust. And then Jake Hudson was like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, it's like, yeah, and then shortly after that, Jake Hudson blocked me, and I'm sure it's because Joey C got into his ear, because Joey C just wants whack packers. You know what I mean? Like, he sees Jake Hudson, he's like, this is one of my whack packers. Like, that's all it is.
Right.
He looks at Spider. He says he doesn't realize that he himself is a whack packer, so he projects that onto other people. So
I know whack
business. Am I Schmuel Buckman's whack packer?
Right.
My own comment in the chat was rejected. I was sending Mud Sharks Unite because there's some stuff in the chat I want to talk about, but I didn't want to. We'll get there. So I said, MSU, hang you. I guess that's why. I meant hang, comma. You're not 100% correct. All right, but we'll get there. Joey fascinates me. I'm like shocked that he's still around.
He's not going anywhere. He is not going anywhere.
But he doesn't get. I mean, he doesn't. Look. There's no way to calculate super tips and that stuff, but I don't even think he registers on Playboard, right?
I'm not sure.
I don't.
Yeah, and
I don't register on Playboard, so I don't know. The Pineapple did.
The problem
Did he?
with maybe you could. I don't know. You want to take a quick?
I think Joey C does register. I think I've looked at Joey C's numbers.
Oh, because
I don't remember. Maybe not.
The thing with Joey is, I like Joey. I tried to help Joey, but the problem, he can't focus on anything. So it's like you can't work with him on anything because it's like he starts, then he's got a million ideas, and he's always on to the next idea before he handles the first idea, and it's like it's tough. I can't do it.
Well, that's because
the
idea he has, like with the metal detector show, he did 2 of them, and he just thought that when he thought the metal detector show was just going to be a conveyor belt of super chats. When he doesn't get that conveyor belt of super chats, then he goes, "Oh, this ain't working." No, see, it's just they're just not interested. They're not showing me any love. They got nothing for it. Just doesn't work.
Yeah, and the thing was, he didn't know how to turn the sound off, right? So the metal detector was just beeping, beeping, beeping all the time, which meant you couldn't hear what the hell. It was a fucking clusterfuck.
Well,
You
maybe
know?
because he was in a park and he was metal detecting a pipe that was in the ground.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, man. And but I look, I
I
give
don't
him credit.
support Joey. I
I'm
support
get-
Joey
I-
when he pays me super chats because I'm glad to take away from the people that have given him money. But but I don't support Joey in any single way. But I'll be nice to him when he super
I
chats
like
me.
busting his balls. I like busting
I
his
don't give a
balls.
fuck.
I laughed my ass off when he got caught lying about the hurricane, right? Leaving during the hurricane, and it wasn't that he lied leaving that was the problem. It was the problem that he got called out for it, and that's what he went nuts for. You know?
Yeah.
He's like, your problem is you caught me. So, and then he has all my.
We're not supposed to be
impressions
talking
down.
about Joey. He's supposed to get no mention at all.
No, no.
That's the sanction that Quadfather has sent out to everybody, just so everybody knows. We don't talk about Joey C at all. No.
I just like that
Nope, no.
B Dabbler one day, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to cover Joey C anymore. He just doesn't do anything. He's boring now." And then, like, the next day, Joey was having audio problems. He started going off. He's
Look, man, he's a character. This is the thing with Joey C. He's in this stage right now. He's in the conversion stage. He's in the self-awareness stage. He's in the cocoon stage. The stage that a fucking worm turns into a butterfly, or whatever the goddamn metaphor is. Either he can embrace the fact that he's a fucking lolcow, and see that this is the problem with Stuttering John. But you turn into a butterfly. You're beautiful at that point. You become self-aware. You're beautiful. So people are paying you for your beauty. But the problem is once you become self-aware, either the money ends or it exponentiates, and he has no self.
He has no self-awareness.
What's the word? He doesn't have the confidence that he's gonna be good at being a shit on. He thinks he still wants to be good at being an alpha.
right.
He doesn't understand that like being good as a sigma is much better, or whatever the lowest form of alpha is. Sigma? I don't know.
Zeta.
I feel like I was right. I feel like I was right there.
Yeah, we would probably say beta, but that's all right.
Okay, beta. Yeah, beta. Okay. Lower than I'm trying to get lower than beta.
I know. I got you. I don't know what
Gotcha.
C is.
Cunt.
Yeah. So let's. I know Cupcake. We said we would talk about your books. So you're streaming from places, and you're doing movie reviews, and
Yeah.
you're doing some Audible book reviews, correct?
Yeah, the movie reviews are doing a lot better than the book reviews, but yeah, I do. The last movie I reviewed was Captain America: Brave New World. That I didn't like it. I didn't like
Yeah.
it. I did see the movie Companion. I don't know if you heard about it.
Now you talked to me about that, and you didn't tell me it was a foreign language film.
No, it's not.
Oh, I looked up. I looked up the Companion, and it was in Spanish. The one that I saw. So
Oh.
the Companion, right?
No, not the Companion. Companion.
Ah, I looked up the Companion
Yeah, no, Companion.
because I'm a NPR voice kind of guy.
Exactly.
I've been talking now for probably, I don't know, since 12 o'clock this afternoon. So I probably won't have much voice tomorrow. Um, yeah. So we'll have to. And wait, let's see. Let's see. I'm just gonna go.
And then I
Companion.
saw,
I know you really liked Companion. Oh, a
yeah.
2025 movie. All right. No, you know what? Uh, let's put that out, and then well, oh, it's on Prime Video.
Ooh,
I'll have to watch that.
yes,
And
yes.
it's
And I went,
funny.
I went into it dead blind. Didn't know anything about it. I was, what movie did I go see? It was Wolfman, and the trailer for Companion came on, and the movie posters are the the main character, Iris, but her eyes were all white, and
Hmm.
I thought, and I knew it was a horror movie, but I thought she was possessed by a demon. So, and I was like, okay. So I didn't even pay attention to the trailer. So it was the only movie that was playing. I had a couple. I had 3 hours to waste. 3 hours to spare. That was the only movie that was playing. I was like, all right, I'll go see it, dude. It is a great movie. It is a great movie. I did two reviews: a non-spoiler review and a spoiler review.
Cool. All right. So we'll have to watch that. This is let me just go here. Da, 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 da. So this yeah, sorry, is the one that I found of The Companion. And I hope it's not about two men falling in love. Um, that was the Spanish language one. That was the one that I found, and I was like, "Ah, Cupcake didn't." And you speak Spanish, so it was
Yeah,
like it made sense. And so I was like, "Oh." Now, I love a foreign language film. I'm a subtitle guy,
yeah,
but
me too.
I can't. It's got to be like a special thing. Mrs. Buckman and I were supposed to sit and uh, watch something together because she complains that I don't spend enough time with her, which is probably true. I think one of the things about doing a stream is that we tend to do them at night, and that's when they want to get together, and we're only together a few days a week. So this is the film that our friend Cupcake is talking about. The
Yeah, that's
studio
it
that
right there.
brought the studio that bought you the Notebook.
Yeah,
This
and that's why I was totally turned off by it. I was like,
it's a science fiction comedy horror. Sophie
mm-hmm.
Thatcher and Jack Quaid, and written by Drew Hancock. So who's the Sophie? Oh, Sophie Thatcher. I have no idea who Sophie Thatcher is.
I didn't
Do you,
either, and but she was on the Book of Boba Fett TV show, the Star Wars TV show.
yeah, I got to admit, I don't. I think the last Star Wars film I saw was, uh, God, the one with the girl. Um,
Oh, right, yeah, those three. Just the first one was cool. Um, the Force Awakens, I really enjoyed. They say it's a reboot of A New Hope. Okay, I can see where you're coming from. I really enjoyed that one. The other two sucked balls.
eh,
Just balls sucked.
dude, I remember them trying to sell me Jar Jar Binks. What, Dave? We can't hear you, and you can hear me, Cupcake.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Um, no, I remember them trying to sell me Jar Jar Binks like before uh it aired. He was like on 60 Minutes, Steven, whatever his name is, and George Lucas. I'm sorry,
George
was
Lucas.
on,
Yeah, yeah.
he was on like 60 Minutes or CBS Sunday Morning, and he was giving this very thoughtful explanation of Jar Jar Binks and whatnot. And I'm like, I see the movie, and I'm like, oh my god, what a piece
Yeah.
of shit, you know?
He's a funnier character than we've ever had before. So, Jar Jar's the key to all this.
Is it okay? I get it's the kiss thing, right? When it really like Disney annoys me, not so much because of they're movies, but just because how much they sell shit, and it's like all it is to get little kids to buy stuff, and it really makes me crazy. So
Yeah, I
no,
mean
but he's
that's what
see
happened with the three prequel movies. I mean, those were all just to sell toys.
okay. Filipino is spelled with an F, just so you know. Um,
From the Philippines.
but the Filipinos, there are I they have places in the neighborhood. I used to rent space in my office to a Filipino immigration attorney, so I got to meet a lot of them. And then
I hated Rogue One.
the area I'm in, yeah, there's a whole bunch of Okay, Rogue One and the first couple of seasons of The Mandalorian are the only decent Star Wars products since Disney bought
I
Lucasfilm.
hated Rogue One. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. Hated every bit of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not like it at all.
I
Like it could have been so much better if you wanted to make that kind of, war spy kind of movie. But
So is
I
Rogue
hated it.
wait, is Rogue One the one that I'm thinking of with the young girl oh, Jesus, I can't think of Rhine, something
No,
like that.
that's those are the sequel movies. That's the Rise of Force Awakens. Um, yeah, the Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, and the Ryan Johnson one. Well, I don't remember that one. I don't remember the name
Wow.
of that one. Rogue One, I think her name was Felicity Jones.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
All right.
I
Yeah.
just the even see here's like I'm a I was a huge Star Wars fan of the first three movies,
Mm-hmm.
and what I liked about Star Wars was, like, I didn't really care much for the Force. I didn't care much for lightsabers, like that. Everything can be answered by the Force. Like, oh, it's the Force. Like, oh, how did he know how to do that? The Force told him how to do that. The Last Jedi. Thank you. Um, and in Rogue One, you know, Darth Vader did not need to be in Rogue One. Like, it ruined Star Wars. And I don't call it A New Hope. The first Star Wars movie is called Star Wars. I don't care that it's Episode 4. I don't care that it's called A New Hope. It will now and forever be known as Star Wars, and you know what I mean. But it ruined it. It ruined it because the scene where Darth Vader, he lights his red lightsaber and then he's killing everybody. Why didn't he do that when they got in the ship? He let the stormtroopers get in there. And then in Star Wars, where he's confronting Leia about, I want those plans. If this is a counselor ship, where's the ambassador?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you saw them leave, you saw them escape. You wouldn't have asked those questions. Bitch, I just saw you leave with these plans. It just, I hated Rogue One. Hated it, hated it, hated it. Hated every bit of it. Hated
I,
every bit of it.
they lost me. I remember when they first started doing the superhero movies, like Batman and Superman and stuff, and I was into that. And then it's like, it's just too much. I feel like now you're just pumping them out just to make
Yeah,
money. Like none of
yeah.
them are none of them are very good. It's like Godfather 3, you know,
Ugh,
uh, to me, and it's
yeah.
tough because I it's weird because it's like I have friends that are into it even at my age, and I am like I'm not, and I have a neighbor who every superhero movie he wants me to go see with him, and I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen. I know Yoda isn't green because he's got to throw up. That deserves a second shot. And no, Yoda isn't green because he's got to throw up.
Right, right.
That's funny. Good joke there, Rafi. We got you. Star Wars joke. Cool. So,
But to get back
go ahead.
to what Chris Mack had said about the Mandalorian, yes, the first the first 1.5 seasons of Mandalorian were great until Luke Skywalker showed up. Like, I don't. I went to the Mandalorian because it had nothing to do with the Skywalker family. It had nothing to do with, it was the only Force person, the Force sensitive being on that show was Baby Yoda. And that was enough. That was cool. But then Luke Skywalker shows up, and then Ahsoka Tano shows up. Like, come on. Like, you can only squeeze so much blood from a stone. Like, don't even
It's
talk to me about the third season of The Mandalorian. That just sucked balls, too.
and it's kind of strange because the younger people that would be attracted to like that stuff, they wouldn't even remember Luke Skywalker, right? Like
Right.
it wouldn't be that it's not that important.
Right.
You
I
you
will
could
say this about The Last Jedi. People, even Luke Skywalker, even Mark Hamill himself said, I fundamentally disagree with where you're taking this character. The only reason you're saying that is because the stupid expanded universe, the books, made Luke Skywalker this godlike superhero that could do anything. I enjoyed where they were taking Luke Skywalker, this curmudgeonly old man. It made sense because he wasn't trained properly in the Force. He he wouldn't know exactly how to train Jedis. So yes, Kylo Ren, his nephew that he was trying to train, he wouldn't know how to properly train him in the Jedi arts because Luke wasn't trained really properly in the Jedi arts. So that made perfect sense to me. But Ryan Johnson ruined it. He could have had such a, he could have been, like fucked up with the Force, like, oh no, it's no good. And then he could have made a total, 180 degree, could have had a perfect arc saying, okay, I'm going to embrace the Force and I'm going to save the rebellion.
it's yeah. It's funny because and this is how little I get on some of the stuff, but on other stuff, that what you just said, you said the thing about the guy making a 180-degree turn.
Yeah.
I was in a meeting the other day, and this guy said he turned 360, and he must have said it 4 times,
Oh my God,
and
that would annoy,
nobody said
the shit
anything.
out of me.
Nobody said anything, and it did, and I was like, how am I supposed to listen to this asshole?
In the movie The Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Love that movie.
dude, there's a gag where
Great
Anthony Quinn's in
movie.
the pool. Anthony Quinn's in the
Oh
pool going,
yeah.
you turned a whole 360, and Charles Dance goes, it's 180, and then he
180.
shoots him.
That's right. And then there's a Macho Man Randy Savage interview where he's interviewing Gene, or Gene's interviewing. He walks in, he goes 180 degrees, or he goes 360 degrees. He goes, and another 180. And it's like,
Yeah, stuff like
it's so
that.
good.
Stuff like that would just annoys the shit out of me.
But
When
real
people
quick
get-
too, with what were you talking about with Star Wars? This is one of the reasons why I hated Kenobi. Because the show Kenobi and the fight between Kenobi and Darth Vader literally kills episode 5, like destroys it, makes it null and void, tries to make it so that scene is not as big as it should have been. It's so
Right.
lame. Because
they
that show,
hadn't seen each other in 20 years.
20 years. And all of a sudden, it's another 10 years, though.
Right. And then, when Darth Vader goes, I felt a presence I haven't felt since. Like,
He
he,
never says
and then,
the number. Sure, they never say the number. Sure,
right.
sure. I get it.
Yeah.
And I get it. 10 years is a lot of time.
But
I get it.
it's still,
But
they
just
met.
cheapens.
They met. It totally cheapens
And like
the battle at the end.
as Vader. Yes, it's like the first time meeting him as Vader.
Right. That is the first time he's meeting him
Yes.
as Vader.
But it never simply says, I'm meeting this the first time seeing you as Vader.
Right.
It never simply says it's been 20 years. So, like,
Yeah.
with the timeline, we can make it so. I hated that. That's why I could never get on board with Kenobi, ever.
Yeah, I didn't even watch Kenobi. When I saw they had a little girl Leia, and like it just all these new movies are just destroying the original trilogy. At least the first movie.
Four.
At least Star Wars. At least Star Wars.
Empire
And
Strikes Back is my. By the way, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie of all time. Second might be Rogue One.
Oh, I hate
I'm not
Rogue
even
One.
joking.
You just
I'm
missed
not
my
even
entire
spent 10 minutes
rant
shitting
on
on
Rogue
it.
One.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I
I
couldn't.
know. I'm just
Talking
joking.
about ruining, like at the very end where Darth Vader comes out and he starts whooping all these people's ass. Why didn't he continue doing that as they captured the ship? And then
That's his daughter, dude.
Why was
his daughter?
He didn't know that at that time.
He knew. What do you mean?
He did not know that.
At this time?
He found that out. He found out she was his daughter in Jedi.
Bro, come
Sister.
on. You think you're talking about? No, he doesn't find that out. No, Luke finds that out.
Sister.
No. You're talking about Vader. Vader knew the whole time.
He did not know. He did not know. He thought Padme died, and that's another thing about the stupid prequel movies too. Darth Vader was not seduced by the dark side. He did not go to the dark side to look for power. He was tricked into going to the dark side. Palpatine said, "Yeah, if you help me kill all the Jedi, I will bring Padme back. Cool, let's do it. Great, kill all the Jedi." And then he does that. He says, "Okay, no one has ever cheated death, but we can, but if we work together, we can find out." Like, motherfucker, you told me you knew.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, that's an internal. Well, I get what you mean, but in reality, I mean, look. Hey, have you ever heard the theory about Jar Jar being the Sith Lord?
Yeah,
I love that, dude. I love that, dude. So good.
Yeah.
Is Jar Jar ever going to be seen again?
There's a smatterings. Yeah. Have you ever seen the Plinkett reviews of the prequel movies?
No.
Oh my God, you need to watch those.
Plinkett reviews? No.
Yes.
My cousin,
Red Letter Media.
My cousin is like a huge Star Wars action figure collector. He's like 10 years older than I am. And
my age.
I remember going to Comic-Con. Probably it was like 2004. And he bought a Star Wars Cromulin from 1977 or it must have been Empire Strikes Back. So 1980. 1980, it had Boba Fett on the Cromulin. It had Anakin Skywalker. It might have been Return of the Jedi. I remember with the Cromulin. Cromulin had 6 action figures on it. So basically, back in the day, what they used to do is they would make these mock-ups. First, they'd draw the backs of the cards, right, that the action figure went on. They draw the back of the card, and then they make a Cromulin of the card, which is like a 3D printed AutoCAD version of what the back of the action figure was going to look like. Okay, for the printer to use. So he had an original sheet of like the Boba Fett Cromulin was going to be, and it was like with the whole thing, and he ended up buying for like $10,000.
Oh my God, it's not that cool.
Well, no, it was like 6. It was 6 of them. Just the Boba Fett alone, I think, sold like 3 years ago for like $28,000. Just the Boba Fett part alone, because since 2004 he sold it, and it's been resold and cut. It used to just be one sheet, and then it was cut. And so his Cromulin thing that he bought at Comic-Con 2004 for $10,000 was later sold for $21,000 as a full sheet, and then cut it to separate spaces, and then they all went out to different. I mean, it's crazy stuff. Love it.
There used to be when Star Wars came out, they used to have 12-inch figures of Han, Leia. Oh, it must have been after Return or Empire Strikes Back, because they had a Boba Fett one, and the Boba Fett one had like a little thing you could like look into his helmet, and it was like a little telescope thing.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Remember the whole rocket thing?
Yeah.
I just want to interrupt for 1 second. Look who's in our chat.
Carlos Danger.
Hey.
The Ray Killer.
Deadpool is the last Jedi of Dirty Harry movies.
That's right. That's right.
Welcome to the jungle. Fuck.
Go ahead. I wasn't interrupting. I just wanted to point out
just
that.
so yeah, but Mike, so my cousin, he happens to be like one of the larger Star Wars action figure collectors literally in the world. And he had before. Remember, it was called Return of the Jedi, but before it was called Return of the Jedi, it was called Return of the
Revenge.
Sith,
It was Revenge of the Jedi,
Revenge of the Jedi. Yeah,
but they changed it because Jedi's don't look for revenge.
exactly. So let's see if I can find it real quick. Just so he basically created
Does he have
not
Does he
created.
have that poster with the Revenge of the Jedi on it?
I'll show you even better than that. Just keep talking for 1 second.
Right on.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Yeah, so start go on.
Well, no, I kick myself in the ass when I see all these Star Wars toys that get sold. Like I had when I was a kid, I had the Death Star playset. I had, I had all the fucking Star Wars toys, and I just seeing them now, like selling, like you said, for thousands of dollars. Like holy fuck!
Yeah, my dad was not we had GI Joe action figures that somebody gave us, and my father didn't like us playing with dolls.
Really,
Yeah.
that's why they're not dolls. They're action figures. That's why they're
Yeah.
called action figures. Dad.
All right, so this is my cousin Ara Kelekan, DPM. He's a podiatrist. So this is right here. So this was the Cromulin set. You're gonna love this actually. So this was the Cromulin set that he first owned. In 2004, we bought this. He bought that for 10,000. I should say we. I was with him when he bought. I looked at him. I go, did you just buy that? Did you just give that guy $10,000 for that? He goes, I know, Dave. I'm making so much money. I'm sick. So he was just becoming a doctor and like started just spending all his money on Star Wars action figures. So then but these are the mock-up cards. Revenge of the Jedi. Each one of these is worth about $6 to $10,000. And he owns all 6 that are in Circus. And there's the only 6 that exist. He owns all 6 of them.
Oh wow.
And it's a pretty nice. So like there's this whole market of like the cards. Like, so once this actually becomes a card, before it ever has a bubble put on it with an action figure inside of it, there's a whole market of people who buy those in certain conditions, and each one of those is literally worth like $500 without any bubble ever have being put on it. So you have a clean card from 1977, 1980, and 1983 that's never had a action figure put on it.
I couldn't give less of a fuck about stuff like that.
All right.
I mean, no, seriously, about stuff, like, I mean, I had the toys. I played with the toys when I was a kid. I liked the movies. But yeah, like stuff like that, like,
I got you, buddy.
You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
continue.
All right. So, what do you have? All right. So, I get lost with the movies, and I tend to be more of a reader. So, but have you seen or read? Have you seen Silo
no,
on Apple TV?
no, I do not have Apple TV.
Okay, so you need to see Silo, but the book is called Wool,
Okay.
and society has moved into silos. And somebody on here said that sci-fi is a failed genre, and then Affy, sci-fi is a failed genre. Sci-fi is not a failed genre at all. Some of the greatest books that are being written these days are sci-fi. The problem is the movies get so dumbed down, and also like you need special effects, and they're made for kids. So a lot of what would be deep sci-fi stuff with a point, Starship Troopers as an example,
Right.
gets lost because somebody's trying, like, their vision of it isn't what the author's vision was, and it's tough to write. And Apple TV also has Isaac Asimov's The Foundation,
Oh, okay.
and I love it's just amazing books. And uh, I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes of the show, and I was just like, Jesus, this is like they changed it so much. Um, trying to make uh, so there's one of the characters in the beginning is was picked because of uh, their math skill and some other things, and uh, he think they lead you to believe in the beginning that he's not an important character is really what
Okay.
it is. He's important for that moment. He's not an important character, and then but he gets picked for his math skills, and there's a contest and stuff. And in the movie, they change it to some young, uh, not unidentifiable race girl who lives in the poor poverty, and it's just like, and the evil guy. It's just it, and it's not about that. And I was like, ah, man, I can't watch it. And then I've heard that it did really well. So what the fuck do I know about these things? You know?
Yeah, yeah, when you make sci-fi for the general population, like you need to kind of dumb stuff down. That's the unfortunate thing of it.
Well, yeah, and but because you got to make it. You know, if you have a book, right, and the book sells 100,000 copies, that's a great book, right?
Right.
It hits lists and things like that. But when you're doing these movies, they got to go to millions of people.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of the in America we would call it DEI, where they're having black people or somebody of another race play a character. I think a
Yeah.
lot of it is I don't think it's DEI as much as it's they're trying to sell this shit worldwide. So they slap a Chinese character in there,
That's the
right?
only reason Donnie Yen was in Rogue One, so that they could sell it in China.
Right, but you put in, you do that, and it's like, oh man, it takes, it doesn't take away from it for me. I think it's fine, but I know I'm like listening to people talk, and I'm like, no, that's not the reason. But what they're doing is, it's just a metaphor for what they're actually doing is they're dumbing down these movies. They're just trying to appeal to as many people as possible,
Right.
and it's like, fuck the original characters, fuck the original story. We're just gonna throw shit in here to sell this and you know, maybe this guy's a because there's some over the fucking top evil characters in sci-fi that when they get to the film, they're not really a bad, or we have to understand why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I just finished No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy.
Uh huh.
The I don't remember who did the movie, but it was with Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, Anton Chigurh, he is just plain evil. He is just an evil, evil, evil man, and I loved it. There was no, he wasn't, there was no backstory where his father abused him. He wasn't misunderstood. No, he was just an evil dude for evil's sake, and it was fantastic. It
Yeah.
was great. It was great.
Well, yeah, and it's also part of that thing of like we we can't understand that there's just evil, right? Or there is just like there has to be a reason why this person is this way.
No,
Not that
sometimes
they're
people,
just a fucking cunt,
yeah,
you know?
sometimes people are just cunts. Sometimes people are just bad seeds, and that's perfectly fine. That's it makes an interesting character when somebody is just plain evil. It
Yeah. So yeah, and I don't know how much of that is selling or is that to market the movie better, or is it we need we have a need to understand why somebody is the way they are.
that's what they're trying to do. Like, the Disney movie Cruella with
Glenn
what was it?
Close.
No, with what's her name? Emma Stone.
Okay.
Like her mom was, she was trying to get revenge for her mom being killed and that's, you know, it, no, she wanted to skin puppies. When she wanted to make a fur coat out of Dalmatian puppies.
Yeah.
There's no sympathy for that character. That's not a sympathetic character. I don't care what kind of childhood she had. If you're a misunderstood character and you're trying to get, if someone killed your mom, there's nothing sympathetic about you if you want to skin puppies to make a coat.
Right.
It's like,
And it's yeah. And all and also in society, it's not the person that came from the dead mother that made us act that way. It's the overcoming that is more interesting, right?
yes,
Like some people just suck,
yeah,
and
some people just suck.
that's what they do. All right, so I got to wrap it up because I have a
Right
drive
on.
home and I have to be back here at 9 in the morning. Um, so it is American Cupcake on YouTube,
At
correct?
American Cupcake or Cupcakes Corner with American Cupcake, either one, you'll find me.
And box truck cup box truck. I can't even speak. It's been such a long day. Box truck cupcake on Twitter X as
Yes,
we call it, and I promised I would answer a question, so I have to go back in the chat and find it,
right on.
and if I can find it, it doesn't really.
I'm not.
Oh,
I'm not a PETA guy. I was just making a point that in the movie Cruella, they make her a misunderstood character, and that's. But when
yeah,
she
and
was an adult, she wanted to skin puppies.
right. Right, and you don't need to be a PETA person to want to not skin puppies, right? I
Right.
mean, it's a little bit, you know, one of the things, little known things about PETA is they kill more animals, right? And they
Right.
go they go into dog shelters, they adopt the animals, then they put them down, and they've been caught several times doing it because their
Right.
attitude is the animal is better off dead than living that way, and they've gotten off with it. They have so much money. It's usually in a small town that it happens, South Carolina, North Carolina, and they hire, the big city attorneys, and you just can't compete against it. The county or whoever just doesn't have the money to compete against all that stuff. And so, and a really good lawyer has the ability to turn evil into good and good into evil. So,
Yeah.
in any event, let's go here. Schmuel, are the Irish and Jews historical lyrics as a close community in the U.S.? Asking for the race stream. I don't even know what that means.
Right.
Can you try to explain that to me?
Irish Jesus. Historical lyrics. A close community in the unless he meant to say historically a close community.
He says reli- religious historically. We got historically,
Okay.
but we didn't get wait. Oh, are they historically close communities instead of lyrically close communities? I think is what he's saying. Am I correct?
Get all in caps getting mad at us because his autocorrect fucked
Yeah,
up.
you guys familiar with autocorrect? I have a what do you call it? I have an autocorrect theory in a second, but um, you know, look, there are Jews in Ireland. Uh, there are Jews here. We all, every community that I grew up in, well, I shouldn't say every community. The community I grew up in New York was Irish and Jewish. We've always gotten along really well. Um, so I don't know what I don't know what it is, and I don't know what we're trying to say here, but uh, similar experience, that's for sure. And so the Jews sold the Irish old potatoes. Hacka hacka. So the potatoes are not native to Ireland, right?
No, South America.
Yeah, they came from Bolivia, and That's because we likes to travel, and so supposedly Stevie Willou was explaining Irish history to Dumb Vito tonight. Um,
Oh my God, that's like the blind leading the blind.
absolutely, there was a kind of an interesting uh, read on Twitter about this because the Rosie moved to Ireland, and somehow it got into the Muslims moving to Ireland, and they're keep Ireland Irish,
Uh huh.
and the reality is that if the world had the immigration laws that these people want in Ireland, your countries would never have been fucking built, right? Because we
Right.
went everywhere, and the Irish
Right.
and the Schmuelis. But we went everywhere and helped build everything. So that's the deal. So and it's a shit place to live. I once dated a girl from Mayo, and in Mayo, Ireland, it rained 260 something days a year on average.
Oh my God.
I would have done anything to get the fuck out of there too.
Yeah.
So there's that. Let's just see. Stevie said they share some cultural touchstones like corned beef and pastrami because they were back.
God. We all
Uh,
just got dumber.
Stevie doesn't know about having bad meat, right? It's the shittiest cuts of meat, and you brine them, and you do all that so you can make them edible. It's not
So that you can make
really,
them edible.
yeah.
Right.
It's not really that complicated. All right, and then can we all take a silent moment to recall that KV brought Stevie in the original on the show? Jesus, on the show originally because he was able to explain what things mean. Yeah, I could explain a lot of shit, but I'm going to be wrong. It's like Stuttering John explaining things, right? He
Right. I
explains
award no
them,
points.
but
Exactly.
fucking they don't make any sense, right? The explanations. And
Right.
Stevie's got bad meat in the can. Leo, Stevie got mad at me uh, in Atlantic City. Stevie and I have had a long running feud, and Stevie squashed it before we went. He sent me a DM, and we didn't, yeah, whatever. So anyway, we squashed it. And when I was in Atlantic City, I asked him if he was okay because he looked really, really thin and like unhealthy thin. And I
Really.
thought, and I hadn't seen or heard from, and I thought maybe he was sick. And I'm like, are you okay? It probably was me not asking the right question or the way that I asked it, and I was trying to be nice and I was trying to be concerned. I was concerned, and he kind of got mad at me the way that I asked it, and he was like, "No, I'm fine, and I run every day and all." And I was like, "All right, I'm sorry, but
Right.
yeah, Stevie doesn't have bad meat. That's the old Howard Stern joke
Oh
that
no.
so botulism was a big thing
Yeah.
at one time, and
The
the
can was
the
dented. You didn't buy it.
the joke was something along the line of people dying of AIDS. They got bad meat in the can. Um, so yeah, it was
That's
funny then. It
amazing.
was it was funny then too. Um, and I couldn't help myself from laughing. But yeah, so that's the deal. So yeah, I don't really. I know Stevie's doing streams, but I have no idea when they're on or what they are. And I only remember Stevie from being on BYB back in the day
Uh huh.
when they were all friends, and then everybody got all pissed off at each
Right.
other, and
Yeah. He
then
had a big feud with Quadfather.
right, he doxed Quad,
Yeah, that's
about
right.
Quad's family, and then they were doxing him with his wife, and uh, then the whole stuttering John thing, and on and on and on. I I like Stevie, but I laugh because I watch every now and then. I like the Saturday night. I like the Sorcerer, so I watch the KB shows with the Sorcerer, and they'll have Stevie Lou on sometimes. the sorcerer is a medical doctor, and he's also really smart. The guy's got like 17 patents, and he's
Really?
written, yeah, and he's written a bunch of papers and stuff like that. So the sorcerer will explain something, will start to explain something, and Stevie will butt in, and then he will explain it. And the sorcerer is such a nice guy. He's like, "No, you're a fucking." He doesn't say, "No, you're a fucking idiot," uh, but it's so amazing because he interrupts, and you're just like, he was about to explain this, and you came up with some stupid answer. So,
Yeah.
but it is. Johnny Carson gave Source the business in AC. I heard. I didn't see Johnny Carson in. I did not see Johnny Carson. I do believe that the sorcerer's patents are in uh, pharmacology and also a treatment. So I don't know if it's actually in whatever. He just said, and he did mention that he has 17 patents. So and I have no reason to disbelieve him. And I met him, and he is a smart guy. But he's saying, oh yeah, patents. Yes, he has patents. And Stevie smokes 90% THC and then interrupts the sorcerer. Exactly. And I want the sorcerer to say like Stevie says, the weed help. He's got Crohn's, and he says the weed helps his Crohn's. Right now,
That's a common thing that, Crohn's disease, like, marijuana helps Crohn's disease.
right. So ibuprofen will help with an injured elbow, right?
Yeah.
But you don't take 1,000 milligrams 5 times a day, right? And that's the
Right.
thing with the weed is it's like, yeah, it may help, but at some point there's diminishing returns. Now you're just fucked up all the time.
Yeah.
And how much is it helping your Crohn's? Crohn's and comedy don't go together, pal. Actually, they kind of do. All right, so I'll close with this story. I met many moons ago. Well, this has got to be almost 20 years ago. A sci-fi writer on one of the dating sites, like Match or something like that, and she was super smart. And I kind of didn't believe her in the beginning about being, because it's New York. Everybody's a writer or a comedian or an actor or whatever. And I was in
Right.
I was in Barnes and Noble, and there were her books. The problem was, and I really liked her, but she had Crohn's, and her stomach would make noises like you could like it was just I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't handle it. And so my opportunity to marry an award-winning sci-fi writer was destroyed by Crohn's. And but she was a lovely girl.
Damn you, Crohn's.
Crohn's. I was thinking, did you ever see the movie Shallow Hal?
Yes.
All right. I was saying this to the wife last night. In Shallow Hal, the Jason Alexander, George Costanza plays the friend, and there's this really hot chick that likes him a lot. And he has a tail,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
that? And I was saying this was about Ray, and I'm like, she really likes him, but he's afraid of everything, and he always finds an excuse not to be with him. And the one girl who's gorgeous, he doesn't date because her second toe is longer than her big toe.
Yes. Right. Right. Right.
I hate to admit that in my life I've been that way when dating women. It's like this tiny little thing, and I can't get over it. I can't get over it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the story. And hey, man, it's been fun.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you got to talk I'm glad Dave came on to talk Star Wars because
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't really know much about it.
I could
Last
talk Star Wars all day.
last question. So, how do you describe your action um, with an Audible book? Do you say I listened to it or I read it?
It's. I mean, I read it. You know, I read this book only because it's it's pre-programmed that you read a book. Um, but sometimes I'll correct myself. No, I listened to it on Audible, but yeah, I mean, I say I read it.
I I I was at something not too long ago, and a guy that was there, this one of my one of my friends, and he's not the brightest light on the tree, said that he had read a book, and the dude said, "Did you read it or did you listen to it?" As if somehow listening to it didn't count. And I
Yeah,
thought,
I've known
what a
people like
dumb
that.
fuck. First of all, why say that? And secondly, I was like, what a dumb fuck, you know? But I find that with myself, right? I mostly read them, but I do listen to some of them. I do listen to the more, if I'm reading a more academic type book, like if it's a more academic type book, I'll tend to listen to it
Yeah,
because I can't the reading it sometimes is hard or it just takes too long. Um, but I do laugh because I didn't think that that was a thing anymore. I
right.
didn't think that anybody cared, and it takes about the same amount of time to listen to it as it does to read it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, just about for sure.
and I was just wondering. I think I want to ask that question to other people, but I don't know that many people that um, Audible makes a lot of money and sells lots of books, according to the
Yeah,
Wall Street Journal. But I very rarely hear people say they have Audible accounts, you know? But man, if you're on the subway or you got someplace to go, it's nothing like an Audible book.
yeah.
And
I used to go to the library and get the first it was tapes because my car had a tape deck, and then I
Mhm.
got a new car. I had a CD player, so then I upgraded to the CDs of audiobooks.
Man, I used to be in the car a lot and I used to listen to books all the time. But
Yeah,
and it was great because I could learn things. And I've been very resistant to YouTube because I always feel like I can read something faster than you can tell it to me on YouTube. But I have learned that uh, I had to fix plumbing. I had to fix I had to replace a valve stem in a sink last week, and I could not. There was no nut. I could not figure out how to get this fucking thing off. And I didn't want to break it. And I go on YouTube and boom, there it is.
yeah,
Um, or I was at Lexus and the guy told me I was getting a little warning that my key fob battery was low. And they wanted like $25 or something to change it, 20 or other. And I'm like, nah, it's all good. So I bought the battery at Walmart for $2. And man, it's the simplest thing in the world.
yeah. You just pop it open and put it. It's like
Leo Gunn, I have the Audible app on my cell, as do I.
as do
Uh,
I.
and I will say though that the Dabbleverse and YouTube have really cut into my Audible listening, and
Right.
and I don't know. I always feel guilty about buying books um, online when I should have them, but I noticed that I have a lot of books to read, and they're starting to pile up. So I've got to
Yeah.
get there.
I just pre-ordered the Stephen King anthology. There's a bunch of authors that have written stories that take place after the events of the Stand,
Oh,
and it's called End of the World as We Know It. So that comes out. I've pre-ordered it. Comes out in August. Can't wait because The Stand is my favoriteest book in the history of favoriteest books
so uh, I've always wanted to write more and better. And business stuff and shit like
for
that
sure.
I can write. It's not a problem. But I wanted to write write like fiction
Uh-huh.
or whatever. And so I read books on writing, and I bought the Stephen King book on writing, thinking, oh man, I'm going to get like Stephen King. This is going to be great. You know, like he really, aside from all his political views, I mean, the man
Oh
can
God,
write.
yeah.
Well, the problem is you learn very quickly that Stephen King was born with a gift, and uh, he's a writer since he was a baby. And it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
like Stephen King learned to write. Stephen King knew it was like he was born with like
He's a
genetically
writer.
encoded his ability to write, and I was so disappointed. And I was looking for technique and
So the book was one page long. It said, "I was born with it."
no, he doesn't it doesn't say that, but that's the gist of it when you get it.
Okay.
And like from a very young age, he was submitting stories to newspapers and other places, and his stuff was good enough that when he submitted shit, people were writing back to him saying like, "You got something, kid. You know, keep doing it."
Uh-huh.
And he just wrote more and more, but he also had this thing where he hung stuff on the wall. Very disciplined, um, very organized, and he had the ability to write it. So it's amazing that King doesn't like Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining.
Yeah, but
Um,
Stephen King came out and said he loved the version of the monkey, the movie The Monkey, that was based on one of his short stories. And the movie The Monkey is nothing like the short story The Monkey. So
so
in my
yeah,
review of the movie, I asked how much Stephen King was paid to say that.
I I I really enjoyed the book The Shining. When I was a kid, going to high school, I had like a I was on the subway for about 3 hours each day,
Uh huh.
and I just used to read book after book after book. And the book The Shining was fantastic, right? And then so I see the movie, and I'm like, one of the few times when I've enjoyed a movie as much as I enjoyed the book.
Really?
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's really good. You know, it's a little bit different, and I don't mind different. I don't like destroying, but it was good, and it reminds me of the book Gorky Park, right?
Okay.
So
I'm
Gorky
familiar with the
Park,
movie.
Gorky Park, great book, awesome book. The movie Gorky Park, great movie, um, awesome movie, and neither one of them have any. They like there's some similarities, but they're not much. It's so different.
Really?
Um, yeah, because it's they had the Gorky Park the book was very intricate, and there was a lot of like detail that
Okay.
doesn't really translate to a movie. Um, and you know, you didn't walk out of Gorky Park saying, ah, they fucked up that book. You walked out of Gorky Park saying it wasn't the book, but that was a good movie. And
Okay. Okay.
so uh, I enjoy that. And to be perfectly honest, uh, Stephen King's movies that he's been involved in always suck,
Yeah.
right? Um, but and the one I know he hates Children of the Corn. I love Children of the Corn. You know, maybe it's because back when Linda Hamilton was attractive to me, but but no, but the movie, like I'm like, he just did the movie, and he's like, oh, you know, you get misery, you know, you'll get misery, but then every now and then you get Children of the Corn, and I don't know, he just doesn't seem like a very happy person, but there you go. But yes, I do think I agree with you. I do think that he will get paid for stuff, or I think in Hollywood they want to go to the best parties, so they'll suck up to the right people, even a guy like
Right.
Stephen King, you know. And but I do laugh because he writes about Maine so much, and apparently spends very little time there. So uh, I think that that that's interesting because that's what I think of him. I think of him in Maine, and that's all of his stories with the
Right.
snow and all that stuff. Anyway, I could talk about this shit all night, and I'm not going
Me
to.
too.
So good night, pal.
Good
It's been
night,
great,
sir. Thanks for
and
having me on.
All right, cool. I'm gonna remove you, and then I'm gonna say
Yep.
goodnight to the chat, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. We're done. So, Jesus Christ, it's like I don't know, 3.5 hours tonight. No, almost 5 hours. Whatever the fuck it is. It's whatever it was. It was too long, especially coming on here. I didn't think I was going to do any at all. Um, I have 9 people watching me on YouTube. So, to those 9 people, thank you so much for sticking around. Good to see you, Leo. Good to see you. Um, Leo, I didn't see Cupcake seems like a rather pleasant fellow. He actually is. He's a good guy. Uh, I didn't see Johnny Carson in Atlantic City. Um, I did see him at Ray's party. I think we talked about it, but he seems like a nice enough guy. But he does talk a lot. Uh, so interesting. In any event, Cupcake's a good guy. Dave Sauer is a good guy. You follow Cupcake at American Cupcake on YouTube and at Box Truck Cupcake. Shockingly, there was an American Cupcake taken. So it's Box Truck Cupcake on Twitter. Follow him. His streams are good. He does movie reviews. He'll do a spoiler and a non-spoiler. And that's about it. I do feel bad that we streamed while Ray was streaming. I hope we didn't take too many people away from him. And so I don't want to drive home. So good night, guys. Good night.